Um, the most important one is how my father, Orlando, got his grit, got his determination. Where did it came from? And it came from when you ask the question, who is Orlando Cepeda? Orlando Cepeda, just 15 years old, sat on an edge of the exam table, his right knee swollen, the result of playing basketball in Puerto Rico. The knee's too weak, the doctor said, shaking his head. No, Perucho said. His voice, low rumble that brook no argument. He's not having the surgery. Do not lose your spirit now, young Orlando. He had issued a challenge. Fueled by the grit of a father who knew that a legend isn't built on no surgeon's table, but in the heart of a boy who refuses to stay down.
Welcome to the podcast, Men Walking in Faith and Purpose. This is our first podcast. I'm excited, so excited to have this guest, and I'm excited to introduce my co-host, Chris Rushing. Welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. This is our first one, and we have a guest that's near and dear to me, and we have a long story that we're going to share eventually. But Malcom Cepeda, welcome, my brother. Welcome to Men Walking in Faith and Purpose.
I love it. I love the title. Thank you so much for having me. It is a great, great pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Steve, you had a couple questions you want to ask Malcom. Malcom is the son of Hall of Fame baseball player Orlando Cepeda, and we have some really powerful stuff today to share on serving and on faith. So let's go, guys. Let's have a conversation.
Chris. Let's start with that question.
First question: how has your faith affected how you walk through life?
My faith, it affects me in a very positive way. The biggest effect that faith has in me is everybody has problems. Everybody has a way when blessings, sometimes they are blessings and we're turning them as problems. It affects me how I deal with everyday life. In the midst of the problem, I am stronger in faith than ever. Because he will choke you, but he will not strangle you. He's going to give you what you need. And it affects me in a very positive way, because now I want to say everybody has bad days, but through God, through walking in faith, it doesn't affect me, the negativity of others. It doesn't affect me. And I'm a human being, I'm not just, but in the midst of chaos, I'm as cool as they come. And that's God in me. That's God inside me.
Nice.
Amen.
Nice.
Powerful message.
Amen. Nice.
So Malcom, you got a story for us that you wanted to tell us that's really impactful in your life.
Yes, I do. I have a couple, but we are going to start with the most important one. The most important one is how my father, Orlando, got his grit, got his determination. Where did it came from? And it came from when you ask the question, who is Orlando Cepeda? Where did Orlando Cepeda get his determination? Orlando Cepeda, just 15 years old, sat on an edge of the exam table, his right knee swollen, the result of playing basketball in Puerto Rico. They looked at the charts, not at the boy. The knee's too weak, the doctor said, shaking his head. Without surgery, and quickly, the boy will not be walking soon. His days of running are over. The room was cold. Orlando felt his weight in his dreams, the crack of the bat, the dirt of the diamond slipping through his fingers. But then a shadow fell over the room. The big bull, Perucho Cepeda, his father, the legend itself.
Your grandfather.
My grandfather. Stood up. He was a legend in Puerto Rico and the Caribbean, but in that small room, he seemed to grow even larger. He didn't look at the chart. He looked at the men in white coats with eyes of steel. No, Perucho said, his voice, low rumble that brooked no argument. He's not having the surgery. Not today, doctor. Not ever. The doctors began to protest, citing science and statistics. But Perucho, grandpa, simply stepped forward, shielding his son from their doubt. He silenced the room with a single sharp glance to the doctors. It was a medical decision. To Perucho, it was a battle for his son's soul.
Mm.
Once in the room was clear, Perucho leaned in close. The smell of tobacco and determination clung to him. He placed that heavy hand on Orlando's shoulder, leaned down until they were eye to eye. Listen to me, young son. His voice stern but vibrating with his father's fierce love. Do not lose your spirit now, young Orlando. Because right there, right here, this is where the true fighting begins.
Mm.
Sorry.
Okay.
In that moment, the pain in Orlando's knees did not vanish, but the fear did. His father hadn't just rejected surgery, he had issued a challenge. Orlando didn't just walk again, he ran. He ran all the way to the major leagues, fueled by the grit of a father who knew that a legend isn't built on no surgeon's table, but in the heart of a boy who refuses to stay down.
Mm. Mm.
That is very powerful.
Very
It's a powerful message.
Yeah.
Because
I almost called you Orlando. Malcom, tell the
well, my
audience.
middle name is Orlando, so it's okay.
Okay, there you go. I was half right. So you tell that story, you get emotional. What lessons can you share with the audience through that story?
The message in the story is how important situations that come your way, and it kind of leads to where the question was earlier about how does affect the faith effects in you. That's very positive, even though it was chaotic. But my grandfather turned it into a teaching lesson. The audience should learn that not everything that seems horrible, that seems chaotic at the moment, those are not punishments. Those are simply blessings from God to keep going and find a solution. Don't dwell on these problems because you can't help them by dwelling. You can only help them by finding a solution.
Mm.
And Dad understood at a very young age about problems that are going to come your way. Just keep fighting. You're only going to fail when you stop fighting. You must keep fighting. And that's the big story, and that's the big message in the story. Keep fighting. Even when you're young, that's when the true spirit of a fighter begins to develop.
Mm.
And that is so awesome in that story. And that's the message I can tell the listeners, to always trust in God. In the midst of the fire, keep walking through it.
Yes.
Do not
Yes.
go anywhere. Do not stop. Attack it. Don't waste time worrying about it, because the time that you take worrying about it is the time that you can actually find a solution instead of worrying about it.
Mhm.
Then comes the
I'm I,
play that
I'm of
gets
the same
good.
mind. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
of the same
yes,
mind as you. Living 55 years of life myself. Looking back, I know that there's seasons in our life. There's seasons in our life, and on the other side of that is a brand new life, and we have to go through that to learn to become better people. That's our evolution. And when you can finally look up and say, "Okay, God, we've been here before. What's
correct.
the lesson? What are you trying to teach me? Let's go. Let's go." And I want people to know this because you are a huge part of a huge legacy. There was El Perucho, your grandfather, who was a legend in Puerto Rico, in Santurce, born in Ponce, right? And
Yes,
then Orlando, who obviously a lot of people know, some people don't know. They might be just becoming introduced to him. And the third part of the legacy is you, my friend. And I just feel so blessed to have gotten to know you, to hear about the foundation that you're going to introduce, and to be able to share with you the great history of this legacy, and now to witness your part of it. So I'm really excited to hear about that. You told a story about a time when you guys were in a storm and something came up for your father. Would you share that with us?
Yeah, yeah, of course. It was, how can I forget? It was the first time that we talked about the foundation. It was the first time
What is this
that
foundation?
Orlando Cepeda Foundation. Sorry, we started 3 years ago, well, about 3 years ago, and but it was the time, it was the way that it came together. It wasn't a pleasant outside afternoon sipping mojitos and talking about how great life. It was a you know very, very hectic moment on our lives as my father gets bad news, the first trip to the hospital, and he didn't get good news on his diagnosis. And as the doctor's telling me, um, that really turned to me. The doctor left. He gave him this look, and he just, Malcolm, I've been thinking about the kids back home in Puerto Rico. I
Yeah.
would like them to to get all the equipment, all the bats in the world. I don't want them to be like me. I call this moment sailing in the storms of life because on that moment, I felt like I was drowning. I felt like
Mm.
we were in a storm. And all I can think about is ugly, gloomy, waves are going to crumble us. And here's my father thinking of the rainbow ahead
Mm.
that we can't see now. Only he can see it. By thinking about the foundation, by talking about the foundation. It was so funny how, as I sit here with him and I'm picturing it because I lived it and I'm right in front of him, he is telling me all these positive things. And I'm like, Dad, listen, let's talk about you right now. Let's focus on you right now. He turns to me and he's like, Malcolm, I really want to build something. I really want to. So take your notebook out and let's get on it because we have a lot to do. Right then and there, I said, Dad, you're talking about a legacy? He goes, No, Malcolm, I'm talking about progress. You see the storm, I see the rainbow. He said, Malcolm, we're just not sitting in a hospital room, we're breaking ground. In that moment, in that moment, the foundation was born. It wasn't built on a board meeting or a legal document. It was built on his refusal to see ugliness. He took the pain of his condition and the hardship of his past and transformed them into a bridge for others. This is my father. In the midst of the storm, he sees positive potential. He's been like that all his life. As we sat there with the ugly storm, I was so afraid of starting to feel like nothing more than a tailwind, you know, pushing us toward the vision he had already seen. But my father wasn't dying. My father was planting seeds
Mm.
at that moment. And that is so mind-boggling that you can see it, you hear it from the doctors, but he's not thinking about it. He's thinking about his life, how he wants people to remember him, but he's also thinking about these athletes in Puerto Rico. athletes in the United States, not definitely no zip codes, no area codes, nowhere in the world, just the athletes that, you know, all they did was just share a bat, share a rag ball, everybody barefooted. So when they ask them, what size are you? Well, what size are you? Because whatever your size is, that's what I'm wearing, right? They were very poor in Santurce, in Barrio. La Quince is called, 15th Street. It was very, very bad. And through the gloom, through the darkness, this person toward the end, he just had so much grit, so much determination, but he wanted to help so much that's when the story is so powerful, because in the midst of the storm, we are sailing toward the rainbow.
Yeah.
So what is that
And
rainbow? What does that rainbow look like, Malcolm? Like, what are you creating in Orlando's name? Like, what is the vision?
there's a couple of vision, but the main vision is to help the players that cannot help where they come from. They can't help it. The rainbow is seeing a kid to get details on how the rainbow looks in my head, because that's the same rainbow that it was in my dad's eyes and mind.
Mm-hmm.
It was to help a kid accomplish his dream, not just in sports, not just in baseball, right? Not just in basketball. It can be on a workforce, but accomplish your dream through the Orlando Cepeda Foundation, one youth at a time. And we use that because you can only help one person at a time to really get to where they want to get. The beginning, you're going to be there. The foundation wants to be there from the beginning to the middle and the end. That's our rainbow.
So you're
To
bringing
put
hope,
programs out
essentially.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
to put programs out there to help
Great
the kids
message.
where they want to be a plumber, they want to be a
Yeah.
carpenter. If they
Hope,
want
yeah,
to,
man. Yes.
just help. That's the rainbow. The rainbow has six colors. Am I right?
Yep.
Sometimes you see
Sure.
a seventh in the middle.
I need to know more about rainbows.
Well, rainbow has many
Take
colors.
your word for it. Yes.
Many colors. It's not just one color that makes it pretty. It's all the colors together that makes it pretty.
That's that I can see. That I can imagine. Yeah,
So a
I can picture.
rainbow, our rainbow at the Orlando Cepeda Foundation is help many kids, not
Hmm.
just one kid.
Now, are you focusing primarily on in Puerto Rico right now?
We're focusing in Boston, where it was originated.
Okay.
Puerto Rico has a big meaning because Puerto Rico is where Dad wanted us to plant the seed,
Hmm.
because that's where his seed was planted. So
Okay.
that's where he wanted the seed to be planted.
Full circle.
Um,
Full circle. Yeah.
San, San Francisco is um, our next
Destination.
rainbow.
Yeah.
Now,
You
is
know,
Beautiful.
San
to go and
Francisco
see.
where the great Orlando finished his career?
Started his career.
Started.
Started.
Pops was the first rookie of the year. San Francisco was in New York. I mean, the Giants were in New York.
Yeah. Yeah. I
All
remember.
40s and 50s. 1958 was the first year they went to San Francisco, to the Bay. So that was that first year with the Giants, and he was unanimous Rookie of the Year. See, unanimous is a word that everybody votes. That doesn't happen very much. In 1967, when Dad got traded to the St. Louis Cardinals, he was also unanimous MVP.
Wow.
So these are the things. It's the only Puerto Rican that has accomplished these.
That's
So
incredible.
these are the thing. And in 1973, it was the first year of the designated hitter, first year ever invented. So Dad came to Boston to play for the Red Sox. And that year, he was DH of the year. The first ever DH of the year, 1973, was Orlando Cepeda.
Wow.
Yeah, these
With no knees.
accomplishments. Go ahead, real quick, Malcolm. These accomplishments are so awesome, but it's far beyond that. He doesn't want to be identified as an MLB player, which he was. It's this foundation that's identifying his legacy.
Correct.
His purpose, this is men walking in faith and purpose, became your passion. And that's the power of faith and purpose, is you take it and run with it. And here's a cool thing about your story about your grandfather. I don't know if you realize this, but you mentioned he taught a lesson. And what are you today? You're a teacher.
Correct.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
working in crazy ways. Think about that. Powerful.
The
Amen.
origin, man. The
origin.
lineage.
We're coming to the
Yes.
end here, Chris. Any other questions? We're going to bring him back, right, Chris, for another,
Yes.
another show.
A story. If you could impart this story on us real quickly. Orlando had a realization in the last days that he was here with us, and you shared that with me. And if you wouldn't mind, would you share that a little bit with us, please?
Yes, yeah. There's another story that is dear to my heart because I experienced it with him, and I put it together the best of my abilities. But I really wanted it brought me closer to God. It wasn't just an experience or a moment. It was something that it was intricate to my faith. Because I've always believed and I always God dear to my heart, but this was something that you hear people go through it and you're like, oh, okay,
But
until
you witnessed
you
this.
witness it, that's when the power of God comes in. That's when the
Woo.
click.
Yes, I got chills already.
And, and
Yes.
you know, the beautiful sight of my mom, name is Elba, by his side in his bedroom, sharp contrast of the roar of the crowd that had defined Orlando Cepeda's life. But in these final days, the baby bull wasn't fighting a pitcher. He was locked in a final heavy bout with the shadows of his own past. He lay still, his hands, once capable of driving the ball into San Francisco mist, now trembling against the white sheets. Memories flicker like a broken film strip. The MVP chance, the mistakes that follow him off the field, and the weight of a legacy that felt both golden and dimmed. The demons weren't monsters. They were regrets, whispering that he hadn't done enough, been enough for God and his son, Jesus Christ. Orlando's eyes opened. He wasn't looking at the IV drip or the heart monitor. He was looking at the corners of the room where the shadows were retreating. A sudden heat washed over his chest, not the burn of illness, but the sear of a touch. The angels. The angels, he whispered, his voice crackling. The angels are here, Malcom. The peace was so violent, it tore through his pride. He felt grace so heavy it demanded a response. With the strength of doctors, didn't think he had any left. Orlando pulled himself upward. He looked toward the ceiling, seeing a light no one else could see. God is with me, Malcom. God is with me, Malcom. Then the dam broke. Decades of holding it together, the cha-cha swagger, the Hall of Fame poise, all dissolved. He drew a breath that rattled deep in his lungs and threw his head backwards. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The sound that echoed down to all of the hallways in that hospital, in that bedroom of our apartment. It was a cry for help. It was a cry for help. As he sank back into the pillows, the scream stopped, replaced by a smile that looked younger than his years as he was young, as he was a kid. The demons had fled the room, unable to stay in the presence of that beautiful light of God. He closed his eyes, feeling the divine touch in his heart. My father is finally a rookie again in the kingdom of God.
Amen.
Woo!
Tears of joy, brother. Tears of joy.
Wow. Wow.
It takes so much to read this, to have it so locked in my head. God allowing me to put this in the best way possible. But I can't help it to have so much emotion because I'm seeing everything that I'm telling you.
Mm.
So it's recorded in my head. And I was trying to find a way to share it in that same light that I am feeling, that I felt. And I hope I got the point across. And I
I
shared
think
this
you've done a
message
real
with
good job, my
Yes.
brother.
Yeah, you did an incredible
I
job.
think you've done a real good job. Thank you
Well,
so much for sharing that.
yes,
Man.
Malcom. Thank you for all the great stories, and I'm almost speechless, which is rare for a Steve Ramona. But thank you. I know, and thank you for being an incredible guest. Wonderful,
pleasure,
being
guys.
transparent and humble. Love that. Love you. But I know people listening are going to want to reach out to you. How can they connect
Yeah.
with the foundation and connect with you?
Yes, yes. You can reach me at Orlando Cepeda Foundation.com. You can reach me and drop me a note, drop me a message. You can reach me at Malcom at Orlando Cepeda Foundation.org. Um, let's talk about your story. Let's talk about, how can the foundation come in into your life, into your program and help you. That's my goal for the listeners out there to really reach down deep inside and help us help other human beings in this life that they need our help. They can't help themselves.
Amen.
Steve,
And
that reminds you of you, man. That servant's heart. That
yeah,
servant's heart. That servant's
thank you.
walk, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And here's the other
Yeah.
thing, audience, if you resonates with you and you want to donate, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know where you look at, it takes money to do this. So also reach out if you know people that would be interested in helping, maybe volunteering as well, doing many things. I'm going to speak for Malcom. I think I'm doing a great job here. Before we end, Chris, any last comments about this incredible show?
Listen, we've only touched on we just put our feet in the water here with all the beautiful stories that Malcom has to share. Malcom and I have an actual story to share as well about how we connected with each other. God is so good because the
Yes.
intention was much different than the outcome. And now we get to be in each other's life forever because God brought us together, not in a way that we intended or planned.
Yeah. Yeah.
And God is great, man. God is great. I feel so humbled to know you, to know Steve, to be a man of faith, and to be walking in my purpose and to be sharing with you guys who are doing the same thing.
God bless you, Chris. That's a
God
great way
bless
to
you.
end.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you
So,
so much.
audience, me, Chris, and Malcom want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see all of you on the next episode of Men Walking in Faith and Purpose. God bless
Yes.
everybody.
God
God
bless.
bless.